Everyone, welcome to 3 at 3. Today I want to tell you a story about my absolute favorite person on the planet, my little brother James. And for those of you who don't know James is the youngest in our family, and he has Down syndrome. But let me tell you, there's nothing down about it. This guy is the absolute best, and he is so much fun. A few years ago, James and I decided to go swimming, and so I took him to this pool, and when we got to the pool, I noticed something super cool. It had like a water slide, and I'm talking like not an ordinary water slide, but one of those fully enclosed, like loopty water slides, and it had like water going through it. So I was like, oh, this is the real deal. So I look at James, and I'm like, James, bud, you should do that. And so James took a little bit of convincing, but finally he's like, okay. And so he gets to the top of the water slide, and right before he decides to go into the water slide, he looks up at me, gives me a thumbs up like he's doing this thing. And so I'm excited, and all of a sudden he goes out of sight, and so I start looking at the end of the water slide, and I'm waiting, and I continue to wait, and I start to get a little bit nervous because he hasn't come out yet. And then I look at the lifeguard, and the lifeguard is like looking over, and as the lifeguard starts looking over, I jump out of the pool, and I run up to see what in the world is going on, and I find James holding on to the edge of the slide for dear life, and water is pummeling his face, and he is scared out of his mind, and I wrap my arms around him, and I'm like, bud, let go, but he will not let go. He is holding on so tight. And I know that the reason he is holding on so tight, the reason that he will not let go is because that is the only thing he can control in a situation that is completely out of his control. He knew that once he let go, he wouldn't know what was going to happen. And he didn't realize that I actually had my arms around him. He didn't realize that as soon as he let go, I was going to pick him up and bring him to safety. And as soon as he let go, I grabbed him and I brought him out of the slide, and he looked at me and he smiled and he gave me a huge hug and he said, Tiff, you saved my life. You saved my life. And it was an incredible moment for our relationship. It was incredible. In this season, I feel like a lot of us might feel a little bit like James did in that moment. We feel like we are scared to death, and our natural tendency is to do what James did, to hold on, with all of our strength for dear life. But the problem with that is that we're actually not strong enough to hold on in our own strength. And I love Isaiah 41:10. It says this, don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. In this season, I found great comfort in remembering that I actually don't have to be strong enough. Yeah. I found great comfort remembering that I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to be discouraged, because I have a God who will strengthen me and help me, and who will hold me up with his victorious right hand. Yeah. So how do we combat fear in the midst of crisis? I think all of us need to let go and to let God hold us. Thanks for watching 3 at 3. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow.